Alright, and welcome to the Ultimate Guide to Triangle Congruency, Level 2. Now, when we look at this shape, it's kind of interesting because we have two triangles that are smushed together. We talked about this a little bit in our last video, but sometimes whenever we have two triangles smushed together or touching, there's actually what we're going to call a hidden congruency. And so in this case, I want you to notice that these two things have a common side. So everyone underline that on your paper. And what I'm going to call this special property is we're going to call this a shared side. And look, if it's a shared side, it's shared by both triangles. It must be congruent to both triangles, all right, because it's the same length. And so what we say is it's congruent to itself. Okay, then at this point, the property of congruency becomes pretty easy. What you do is you can circle either one of these triangles, it doesn't matter, and you go around the triangle asking yourself, is this piece of information a side or an angle? Okay, well, check it out. We see here that we have a side with the three little tick marks. We see right here we have a side with the one tick mark and a side. And so this property of congruence is side, side, side. All right, easy. Let's move on to our second example. Okay, example 2. So here we have two triangles, but they're not smushed together. They're just touching in this one point. So where in the world is our hidden piece of congruency? Well, if I take my marker or my pen, not sure what you call it in the digital world, but I go ahead, my stylus, there we go, and I really highlight that line, and I really highlight this line. Notice I've actually created two sets of opposite angles. And so whenever you do that, whenever you create those two sets of opposite angles, what you've done is you have a set of, let's see, vertical angles. And we know that vertical angles are congruent. So our hidden congruency is going to be vertical angles. And I'll just abbreviate angles A and G. Okay, now what's our property of congruence? Well, once again, you look at all of your information. This little box right here indicates a right angle, and a right angle is congruent to a right angle. So we have an angle. These two tick marks indicate a side, and here we know that we have our vertical angles. So these two triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. All right, let's go to one more because this one is very tricky. Okay, this one's tricky because of the way that it's overlapping. And so sometimes students get a little bit hung up here. So let's kind of go through the information. Let's see what we have. It says given ML is perpendicular to BL. Well, let's see over here. Here's ML and here is BL. And perpendicular means that we want to put our right angle box. So right off the bat, I see a right angle box there, and I see a right angle box there. Now, one place where students sometimes get tripped up is they try to put vertical angles right here, where the two lines intersect. But notice that that's halfway across the side, and you're never going to really care about an angle that's halfway across the side, because there's really not an angle. It looks like one is there, but it's really not. So where's our hidden piece of congruency? I want you to pause the video and just see if you can figure it out on your own. Yeah, and so the hidden congruency is actually the base. Look at the base of this triangle. I think it's important to really, let's highlight this left triangle. Okay, that's in red. And let's highlight this right triangle. We'll put this one in blue. Okay, and what you'll notice is that they have a shared side, which I'll put in this kind of puke green here on the bottom. And so this shared side, well, that's kind of like in our very first one. We have a shared side. Okay, so let's give it 3 tick marks because I like to do that for my shared side. And then we're also given this information. AL is congruent to MB. Let's see, so AL is this line right here. So I'll give it, let's say, 2 tick marks. And MB is this blue line. I'll give it 2 tick marks. And so what you want to do is you really want to go ahead and look at this like one triangle. So we're going to focus on the blue triangle. Let's see what we have here, okay? Y'all ready? I see that we have the hypotenuse. I'll label that hype. Okay? And I'll see here that we have the base, which is one of the legs. Or another way that we can say this, maybe in a purple, is that what we have is a right angle, and as I go around the left-hand side of this, I have a side, and then and as I continue to go around that triangle, I have a side. And so remember, we never say right angle side side. What we say instead is hypotenuse leg. And that's just the tricky one. Alright, I hope this video helps, and I'll catch y'all in our level 3 video.